Alright, what is going on, guys? HC Jammers here, back with another fighting game commentary. This one's been spiced up a little bit. It's not just specifically Ultra Street Fighter 4. This is going to be a fighting game content commentary all round, or should I say in general, because it's kind of, all the replays you'll be seeing are kind of going to back up my point for what I'm trying to say for today's topic. And it's a topic that has been on my mind for a while. But, you know, I wanted to talk about it a couple months back, but I was in uni, so I was really busy, couldn't do it. And then, you know, Justice Soul Tuner, aka JST, he done a video on it, calling it Knowledge is Power. And the topic was pretty much what I wanted to talk about, so it kind of just sparked my mind, and said, hey, I remember I wanted to do something like that. So, you know, here I am doing it, and here will be my opinion or my thoughts on it. And if you want to check out JST's video, the Knowledge is Power one, I'll leave the link to the video in the description. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description as well, and his Twitter account, so go check him out, give him a follow, give him a subscribe, just check him out in general. He's a nice guy and he does some pretty good content, so, you know, just overall check him out. So yeah, you're going to be seeing a Persona 4 replay, which you're seeing now. You're going to be seeing BlazBlue, Continuum Shift and Chrono Phantasma replays. You may see, I think, 1 or 2 USF4 replays as well, and across Tekken one. One of the BlazBlue ones, the quality was a bit messed up because my Elgato's, the settings messed up for the game. I'm not too sure, but we will worry about it another time. But those are replays you'll be seeing in the background, because I was running around trying to get replays of different fighting games, and I managed to find all the ones that I've got in my room, my collection, and say, hey, there's replays everywhere to be found, and it can help elaborate my point. And, you know, but yeah, let's get on to it. So what I wanted to talk about today was, probably as you can tell from the title, is the fighting game learning curve too steep, too difficult for upcoming players, new players that want to play fighting games casually, or, you know, guys that are trying to really get into, you know, difficult games to play? And, you know, not just Street Fighter 4, I'm talking about all kinds of games. We've got Persona, BlazBlue on the anime side, Street Fighter, Tekken, or Street Fighter, of course, Tekken on the Capcom side, you know, 3D fighters like Soul Calibur and Tekken, of course. And, you know, Injustice, oh, that's probably 2.5D, so Street Fighter 4. But yeah, it's just pretty much talking about that point, or making the point, is it too difficult for players to kind of soak in the information that's being thrown at them, and not really being told every single detail? No, because it's like, the information, when you jump on a fighting game nowadays, because I know most people who are subscribed to my channel play fighting games, you jump on, and you automatically assume, or you know, what it is you're doing. So you're kind of in the, you know, the safe zone, the neutral position, saying, okay, I'm not completely dumb at this game, but I'm not great at it, so I know exactly what I'm doing to know where I get off to be in that position where I could be brilliant at the game. Whereas there's other people where, you know, they say, hey, you know, this fighting game looks cool, I want to try it out. And, you know, they come on and they just get bombarded with information that's, it's not completely unnecessary, but it's not the kind of thing that you should be saying to a, like, you know, a newbie, a new player, a neophyte. I think that's the scientific word for it, because, you know, when I was in university, I had to do this assignment where, you know, you had to describe a character, and you had to do it in a format where, you know, you cannot give away the clue, but you have to talk about it, or you have to describe the character like you're explaining it to a really dumb person or an alien. And that's exactly what fighting games are not doing today with their tutorials. I mean, they explain things to a certain extent, which is no problem, because, you know, I've been playing fighting games and I can understand it. Anyone who's a gamer can really understand tutorials and stuff to a certain extent, but the guys who just have no clue what they're doing, they could be bombarded saying, hey, press the light kick and light punch button to, like, you know, take a throw or have a throw break, but they won't tell you what the buttons are. So, you know, you're just sitting there mashing and you know, mashing everything, and then you try and find out the button, and then someone, you know, someone online probably tells you, oh, it's A and X. This is a Street Fighter, for example. You know, but with BlazBlue and Persona, I believe, I think their tutorials were alright, because they give, like, what, 10 to 20, probably 30. I think Persona did 30. Persona 4 Arena did 30 trials, and, you know, it's explaining every little thing, not specifically in every little detail, but it gave you 30 trials enough to know what buttons to press. They even show you examples. That's what I like about the BlazBlue, or should I say the anime games in general. If there's a trial or a mission that you cannot do, they will actually show you how it's done, and they'll, even though the buttons will be there, they will show you that there's or you got a dash here, or you got a jump here, or do a super jump. They won't tell you that in a game like Street Fighter. Street Fighter will just tell you the buttons. This is what JST was saying in one of his videos. You know, in certain trials in Street Fighter, they'll just tell you the moves, but they won't tell you, oh, you have to be in like one of Jury's trials. They'll tell you all the moves that are impossible to link, but they didn't tell you had to be in Ultra 1 Feng Shui Energy to do it. You know, there's some other trials where you got to be in some really awkward position to, you know, really awkward position to do the trial, but it just doesn't give you any hints. It doesn't, you know, tell you, oh, you should be from here and there, and that's why people are kind of forced to go online and kind of look up this thing, and that just kind of defeats the point of trying to learn the game for yourself if you go online. Like, you know, when people try to find the best characters in fighting games and stuff, like who's the best, who's the worst, they'll go online and find out, and they'll find out information, all the technology, aka the tech they can find on the characters. It's not really, because the game doesn't tell you enough, and this kind of makes you think it's a kind of lazy thing to do on the developers side of things. I mean, they've already got enough things to do as it is when it comes to creating the game, and obviously I'm studying a game design course, so I kind of know the extent to this. But, you know, if you're gonna do tutorials and, you know, little missions or stuff that can help new players want to get into fighting games, you're gonna have to put out all the stops, and you're seriously going to have to you have to do it like you're explaining it to a really stupid person, because that's the only way that, you know, people can get on their 2 feet and pick themselves off the ground and start running, or not. Well, they can hit the ground running, because that's what you want. That's what you want at the end of the day. You want everyone to play the game to the best of its ability and the best of their abilities. They can't do that if you are, you know, you're just throwing them into the deep end of the pool, like, you know, the 6 feet or 6 foot under. You know, you can't throw them in that end and expect them to just, hey, beat the crap out of this dude, and these are the buttons, here you go. You know, we need it step by step, and you know, that's what fighting games in the future should be doing. I'm not sure if Killer Instinct has done it. It probably has. Mortal Kombat 10, I'm hoping it does something like that, because I've played Mortal Kombat in a while, so I forget all the buttons. I mean, yeah, like I said, they do it to they do it to a certain extent, but they're not doing it enough. And obviously, it's not a really big concern to me and some of you guys watching the video, of course. But I'm saying, if you were to dive in the deep end for any game, really, any multiplayer game, and, you know, you're just getting your butt whooped online or probably offline, you know, and then, you know, you have people telling you this because they had to figure it out themselves. It's like the game didn't tell you, and then, you know, you get special events and stuff where developers will come over and say, oh, hey, is this button, is that button, but it's like, well, you didn't put that in the game, and that could probably take you a mere, I can't say 5 minutes, it'll probably take you a mere, you know, half an hour to an hour, maybe longer. You know, just, it's more down to the point of spending more time with these games. And obviously, it's the bigger the company and the bigger the game, the more likely lazy it is to be, if that makes any sense. So, you know, let's give an example. Ultra Street Fighter 4, really buggy. They wanted it rushed before Evo. You know, as the digital version, there are lots of bugs. And, you know, I know there's some new players that have been on, and there have been people who have been asking, how'd you do this with this character? This is just basic stuff. I mean, obviously, you get your forums and, you know, your discussions saying how'd you do specific tech with certain characters, but I still see people saying, how'd you do this and that, the basics, saying, you know, the punch, the kick. I still have friends come over my house and say, how the hell do you do this? Because, you know, they say the game didn't tell me. And I start laughing because I've been playing this stuff for 2 years, but I was at that point. I was at that stage at one point playing fighting games. I think the first game I actually tried to learn properly was BlazBlue, but hey, like I said, BlazBlue actually sits you through 20 or 30 trials, and they do it, and they give you examples. Obviously not the best, you know, trials. There are some things, I think, some people should just take note, and obviously, you know, even if the game doesn't give you that, maybe you should make a couple videos on it and help other people. Obviously, some dudes think that's a waste of time because the game, quote unquote, does it for you, but I elaborate this point like thousands of times. It doesn't do it enough. And, you know, I've been playing Skull Wars recently, and I've done the tutorial there. Now, that wasn't too bad. I kind of got the gist of it straight away. There were some things that didn't, because I was playing, you know, one of my boys from my offline scene, Mace C4IQ, shout outs to him. I was playing him and Skull Wars for a little bit. We were doing some online training, but he was doing stuff that tutorial didn't tell me, and then he had to tell me. So, you know. It's just stuff like that, and they were just really basic things like the blockbuster tags. You know, Skullgirls has a mechanic where it's like advanced guard or pushback from Marvel, and you know, I had to type in messages and say, hey, how'd you do that? Because I don't think tutorial told me. If it did, then I just wasn't reading, but I'm pretty sure, I'm 90% sure it didn't tell me how to do certain things. It tells you the basics of punch, kick, hey, this button staggers your opponent, this button, and then there you go. That's another thing fighting games should do, because you know, fighting games are developing a new language now. You know, they have specific words to use, so I really think if not one fighting game does it, all of them should do it. They should do you know, an encyclopedia. Obviously it's on Wikipedia now, but they should games should do, you know, the buttons, or not the buttons, the words that are used when playing fighting games, like crumple, stagger, you know, 50-50s, you know, because there's new words coming out every day, and you know, as developers they should be keeping up. They are keeping up with the language being used, but they need to, I feel they need to incorporate it in their games as well, so everybody knows what to talk about. I know some games like Injustice, I think under the Night Birth or something, Unial, I think that those are the initials for it. They're doing something where you could something about the frames or something, so it makes it easier, so you know exactly what you're doing when you're doing certain moves. Sorry about that, folks. But yeah, it's just stuff like that. I know the games are starting to do it more. They're trying to incorporate things where they can explain a lot more things to not so smart people at fighting games. I do not mean that in a disrespectful term. It's just that everyone goes to be, or everyone is at that stage at one point and doesn't really understand what they're doing. And you know, the main game, you know, the more popular game don't really do that. I just feel they should. And you know, it would be great. There'll probably one day in the future there'll be a fighting game that's, you know, everything I've highlighted. You know, they'll have you really dumbed down tutorials. They'll have the fighting game words encyclopedia, the language being used, because there's still some words I don't even have a clue what they mean, or I've read the description, but I just have no idea what they mean. So you need pure examples, like video examples online. So you know, it just boils down to stuff like that. How far are you willing to go to teach the players? Obviously, you know, people want, or you know, so probably say developers want players to be more independent and figure a lot of things out themselves, which is great. But some people are not as fast learners as others, and you know, some people, they don't want to go online and get their ass whooped so many times to kind of learn the hard way. That's my way of learning things, because that's how I've been brought up in life in general. You know, just learn the hard way, and that's how I've come to the fighting game player I am today. But other people, they're not like that. So you kind of need to take it through, take them baby steps, take them through it, break it down, you know, and let them just scorch through it, really. But yeah, enough babbling on. That's pretty much the topic of today. So yeah, just rounding it up real quick. Do you feel the learning curve for fighting games is too difficult, too steep? How do you go about learning fighting games? Is there anyone you know that is having pure difficulty and you're helping them out? You know, stuff like that. Because obviously, most people watch my videos now, we know exactly what we're doing, so it's not much of an issue. But there are a lot of people in the world who still have those kind of issues. But is there anything else I would like to mention? Just let me know in the comment section, guys, how you feel about this topic. Obviously, you know, you can check out JST's video. It will be in the description below as well, like I said. His one's a pretty more in-depth one than this one. This one was more of a quote-unquote rushed commentary by HD Jammers, because I'm so great at those. No, not really. But yeah, so quickly before the video ends, 'cause I think we're on the last replay now. I'm not too sure. Probably I collected so many replays, I thought I'd run through the replays and run out of time, but obviously I had a schedule. So yeah, just pretty much saying, you know, games should incorporate more tutorials, add the fighting game language to some of the games, add more, you know, frame data type stuff to training mode, and obviously they should probably explain frame data as well, because I'm still not clear on it myself. I'm starting to understand it, but I'm still not clear of it myself. And you know, people should just follow anime games because they have the best tutorials ever. For now. Not saying Capcom can't do it, but they can. But you know, BlazBlue and Persona 4 have the greatest tutorials. Skullgirls is there, but not. It's up there, but not quite on the top. But yeah, okay. So next week or the week coming up, I'm trying to pump out a bunch of fighting game content. All are gonna be matches, and probably at the end of the week will be 1 or 2 tech videos. Still working on things like I do every day with Poison. So yeah, keep an eye out for those. I submitted some things to Shoryuken.com by Twitter, so you may see those on their page soon. I'm not too sure. And yeah, so if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Keep repeating myself, trying to waste the clock or run down the clock and waste the time. But yeah, I've just pretty much said everything that I wanted to do. Feel free, if you guys are new and you enjoyed the commentary, check out my channel. There's more commentaries and more content all around. And obviously I'm really close to 500 subscribers, so if you're new, hit that subscribe button. I'm anxious to get 500 subscribers now and move on and push this channel up a notch, or take it up a notch. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the commentary. This has been your boy HD Jammers. I'm gonna cut it off early because the replay is about to end anyway. I think so. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your game. Enjoy the rest of your game. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. My tongue is so stuttered today. Can't speak. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. So peace out, YouTube.